What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip and welcome back to another video. So today we're doing another Gunpla review, and today we're going to talk about the HG Shenlong Gundam from Mobile Report Gundam Wing. So yep, we have finally gotten to one of my other priority mobile suits for this lineup. So yeah, as you can see here, we have this artwork, and as it's released in 2022. So this is actually the most recent release, I believe, of all of the 5 main mobile suits, if I remember correctly. So last time we took a look at I'm gonna show this right here. So I also have here the Heavy Arms Gundam, which I just got like a couple days, like literally 2 days ish. um no, like, I'm sorry, I forgot. Like almost a week apart. Less than a week, 5 days to be very, very precise. So, again, the review is also on the channel. So, given that they're only 2 years apart, so they're uh, basically very, very similar in their design. And compare that to the Wing Zero, which I also had here. So, there we go. So this is the Wing Zero, and I'm just gonna place it right here. So anyways, look at these bad boys. So I know we're talking about the Shenlong, but yeah, I'm just gonna show these other two for reference. So, like, when I think about mobile suits from Gundam Wing that I really wanted to have, definitely we have the Wing Zero here. I much prefer this over the original Wing Gundam, and even the Endless Waltz designs. Oh, yeah, I got it right here. Although my actual favorite of all the wingsuits would be the Heavy Arms. Again, I prefer this over the Endless Waltz versions. So yeah, I generally like all of the designs in the original TV series rather than the Endless Waltz. But again, personal preference. But let's get that out of the way. So I'm just speaking of out of the way. So I'm just gonna move my other two guys out of the way. And now we're going to talk about the main boy of this video, the Shenlong Gundam. So, as you might notice, there's actually a couple of issues. Well, I'll get to that later. So, anyways, let's look at the overall design. This is the main mobile suit. So, for the articulation, of course, you have the head and the ball joint. So because of the chin, it really can't go 360, but it does turn around quite well. So the arms, so as you can see, of course, the Shenlong has a special right arm. We will get into that later. But for the left arm, so they are all on the ball joint. So right there. So you can raise, you can turn it around like so, of course. So the waist goes around. There's Even though the waist is on the ball joint, it doesn't move like forwards and backwards. Like there's no ab crunch necessarily. However, uh, like the lower half of the body moves really, really well. So I'll just flip open the skirts, so you can basically open like that, and of course like roll joints. However, when it comes to articulation in the lower half, this has to be, I don't know, the most important part. So as you can see, it flips right up, and that is how you can get a lot of leg movement to the back, as you can see here. Of course, when you flip the front skirts up, then it can definitely uh, do a kick. So definitely this guy, at least from all the wing kits that I've gotten so far, this has to be the most flexible when it comes to the lower back. So for comparison, I have here the heavy arms. So it does have an opening flap on the butt as well, but not as much. Okay, so well, it can, but it's kind of like the thrusters are kind of in the way, so you can also do a lot of kicks to the back and such, but again, that butt flap is going to be hindered by the thrusters, whereas the Shenlong's thrusters are more spaced apart and angled a bit higher. So so again, because of the position, you can basically open the butt flap all the way, which the Wing Gundam cannot do at all. Given that this is one of the older kits in the Wing series, so I've mentioned before, this came out in 2014. The heavy arms came out in 2020, and again, because of how close they are in release, so the Shenlong Gundam was released in 2022. So of course you have the uh, knees, then now for the legs, or for the feet rather. So definitely, uh, uh, so it has a toe bend right here. So that's how you get. So that's basically the articulation. Now, moving on to the right arm, because again, Shenlong has a special right arm. So as you can see right here, I'm just gonna pull this out, right, like so. Of course, you can turn some of the joints around, and if you wanna position the dragon head, of course, you can take out the right hand, for example, but I'm not gonna do that. So I am just going to flip this over, and there's a fang right here. So this would be the dragon head mode. So another thing about this feature is that there are some spare parts that you can connect with these joints to make the arm look longer, but I don't think that's necessary. So again, the fact that you can stretch the arm like so is really good enough, right? So as for other accessories, of course, you have the shield right here. This is actually made out of 3 pieces. So the center piece slaps onto the flat yellow piece that you slap onto the shield. There is a connector piece as well on the inside. So let me show you for a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And it is actually latching on quite tightly. So onto the hole in the forearm, so the left forearm. So as for the hands, so it has your standard like fist, aka typical holding hand. So it has like open hands as well, and as you can see here, so for the left hand, I actually used this hand with the thumb like this. So, and you can see, of course, one of Shenlong's signature weapons is the beam glaive. So I find that using this hand with the beam glaive gives a much better grip, probably because of the thumb, giving it a bit more friction to hold, rather than just the typical holding hands. Again, if you are gonna do this with either Shenlong or maybe even the Death Sight, I really prefer this hand, and I kind of recommend that you use the same hand too. So again, those are the accessories for the Shenlong Gundam. So, moving on to the issues. Now, as you may notice, there are parts on the shoulder that are supposed to be green. So, there are stickers that you were supposed to put in there, but it's a skill issue, I would say. But because I messed up so bad, I decided to just throw away those foil stickers. Like, but even though it was honestly frustrating, but looking at the finished part, I think it's still worth it. However, even if I did put on the stickers for the shoulders here on the front, so there aren't any on the back version. However, uh, like Bandai, you could have just made some clear green parts like this that you just slap onto the shoulders. I mean, look at the Wing Zero's chest piece. Like, you could have done something like this, and it would have worked so much better. Like, again, you just make two extra parts made of the same plastic as the beam glaive, and you're done, right? So, the beam glaive also has another feature, though. I'm just gonna remove from the hand. So there is a connector on the back where you can actually put the beam glaive. So this is where another issue comes in. So if you don't, yeah, if you look closely, it's kinda loose. Maybe it's the part that I got, or I don't know. But for me, like, this could have been a bit tighter. But nonetheless, since I have this hand anyway, so yeah, so the thumb version is much better than the regular open hand because I found that the beam glaive also fits a bit loosely if you use the regular holding hand. But again, this is a figure or a kit rather that is as you would say, like, the pros outweigh the cons in general. Again, at least of all the kits or from the Gundam Wing series kits that I have so far, this is the most flexible, or how do you say, like, move oriented. Like, this guy can pull off a lot of poses given the joints. Again, so there you go. Wu Phase, Dragon Fang, and the Beam Glaive. Yeah, really, really like it. So there you go. So I would say I'm gonna have to give Shenlong Gundam a 4 out of 5. So yeah, the shoulder stickers, even though I could have done a better job at that, uh, again, could have been clear parts instead. So the holster for the beam glaive at the back could have been a bit tighter. Maybe you could do something about it, like, I don't know, putting top coat, or like applying a thin layer of super glue and letting it dry before you slap on the beam glaive. But overall, again, this is a really nice looking kit that I would still recommend to anyone, especially if you're a Gundam Wing fan. And of course, considering that this year, 2025, marks the 30th anniversary of Gundam Wing, I might as well be on my way to collecting the other two suits. Honestly, I'm not a fan of the Sandrock Gundam. I do kind of like heavy. Not sorry. The Death Sight a bit. So again, if the opportunity presents itself, maybe I might complete them. And yeah, even though without the connector, by the way, so still a good reach, you can still pull off this extended arm gimmick quite well. And yeah, look at this. So you can just fold the arms back like so, and now it's a normal right arm again. I'm keeping the dragon head like this for the rest of the video though. But yeah, overall, still a nice kit that I could recommend to anyone. Again, especially if you're a Wing Gundam fan or Gundam Wing fan. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. Please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!